Hello YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montez and you're watching my YouTube channel, The Teenage Movie Critic, and welcome back to my YouTube channel everybody. And in today's video, we are doing a review for the highly anticipated musical film of all time of 2025, Wicked for Good. Now, to kind of go into my basics of this, if you don't know my thoughts on the first Wicked, I was actually heavily surprised with it because I didn't really have any interest of going into the first film. Mainly because I'm not a big Wizard of Oz fan. I didn't even know the Wicked play was a thing until, I heard about it. But then I watched the movie and I heard all these good reviews for it and I'm like, oh, well, this is actually something really good. This is something special. For theater fans and for movie fans as a whole, this works really well. And also, kind of rewatching The Wizard of Oz made me like it a little bit more. Going into Wicked for Good, this is a film I need to see now. I need to see what's going to happen. I want to see the epic story of this. What's it going to be like? And I did, and while most of my excitement was towards because of what Wicked 1 was so good, I did have a few nervousness going into the film upon its upcoming release of the month. And it was really two things. One was the fact that they announced the actor for The Cowardly Lion, who is Colman Domingo. Not really much to discuss with that, just because they said they want to make it a big secret, but then they literally just announced it. I thought they would announce it at the red carpet, but then also if they had a actor for The Cowardly Lion, is he really gonna, how much is he going to play in the story? What's he going to do? So I was a little nervous for that, but also, if you saw the runtime, it's 2 hours and 17 minutes. And this is supposed to be the big epic finale of the movie, of this two-part series. How are you going to make this work? Granted, the second act of Wicked isn't normally that long. Neither is Wicked Part 1. Neither is the first act of Wicked, because technically the first one is, the length of how long the show is, which is actually good because I also saw the Wicked show back in January. But that's kind of my thought on it. But with that said, let's go and get started talking about... Alright, so to start off this review, I think the best way to start off is talking about our performances in the film. Of course, Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, their performances are amazing in here, especially Ariana Grande, who, kind of crazy how she started out as being an actress in Victorious, then she was amazing last year in the first Wicked, and then I think that this is probably her best film, to where last year she was able to be so much fun and carefree as Glinda. This one, it actually makes her a very layered and interesting character, to where in this film, the interesting thing about this being a prequel of The Wizard of Oz, of the Two Witches of Oz, this one really explores her character really well in the fact that, she basically gets what she has always wanted in the end. But it's also sad in the fact that she ends up all alone. She doesn't have any love, no friends, but this gives her the chance to make friends and be Glinda the Good, because throughout her development of doing this, she's kind of in a trapped predicament to where she wants to be with her true friend. The person that she truly loves doesn't love her back, and the people that she looks up to don't respect her, but they're also evil and if anything, they're the wicked ones that are behind the scenes and trying to formulate this propaganda in the world of Oz. And I think her arc of where they go from there is really well done. Also, we gotta talk about Elphaba and what she goes through in the film, where basically, she's been on the run, on the fugitive of Oz, and her character arc was really nice. I thought that, basically, people kind of complain that she doesn't really do anything wicked in here. She kind of she tries to do good things, but then certain things happen to where it just gets too far. The lion doesn't believe in her so that the animals can trust her. She tries to save Bok's life, but ends up kind of making another enemy in the process. And then, to make her, get them to get her caught, they kill her sister. So it's like at that point, and now you're killing Fiyero, so at that point, it's like, yeah, you kind of went too far. And it's crazy because you were going to have the Wicked Witch that we knew and loved. But there came to a point where Fiyero had a note for her and planned it all out, which if you don't know, Fiyero had this whole plan that the reason it all takes place at this castle was because Fiyero mentioned the castle that they were going to meet up at, and that's the thing that they're going to do, and Fiyero and Elphaba are going to go and live happily ever after in secret and leave Oz. And to me, that's kind of a beautiful way to do it, to formulate the story, to not just change everything, but to keep it in the way everything is supposed to be. That, of course, not everything is supposed to be the way it is, but at the same time, it's like to keep the peace, to keep good versus evil. It's kind of profound in a way. It does seem kind of messed up, but it also seems kind of profound in the way that story worked out. I also really loved Jonathan Bailey's character as well, since it's kind of his year with him being in Jurassic World and all that stuff. I liked the new songs, and I also really liked all the other stuff. The other stuff in being Jon M. Chu's just directorial style. Of course, I loved Crazy Rich Asians. I loved In the Heights. I also loved the first Wicked. And him in this movie just, once again, proves why he's such a good musical director, but also just a good visual, director, to where he's able to do good dance numbers. He's able to do visual stuff. Like, there's a whole shot compilation in the film with Ariana Grande's song, A Girl in the Bubble, and it's like mirrors reflecting off stuff, and I'm like, this is really cool, and this is just a really good way to direct a song and a good way to direct a film. He knows how to do this stuff really well. Also, if you're wondering why the wedding sequence was so good, it's because of the scene in Crazy Rich Asians. Like, if you didn't figure that out by now, that's why. So, Jon M. Chu, I want to see more things from this guy because he's doing it. He's doing it greatly. I love it. While this movie is pretty great, pretty good, we do have to talk about some negatives with the film. In that I was not a big fan of two things. One, yeah, the runtime did kind of ruin the experience a little bit for me. Now, in most parts, it did pretty well for the first two halves. I think where it really struggled is when it started laying into the foundation of the Wizard of Oz plotline. And really, when it comes to our main characters of the Wizard of Oz, it really became kind of fluctuous in how it did it. Now, the Tin Man stuff, I actually kind of respected. I kind of wish the Tin Man was involved in the story a little bit more, especially in the way they included him and everything. But they just didn't really give him much to do, though I like his transformation. I also didn't like the stuff they did with the Cowardly Lion, the reason why he was the Cowardly Lion. Like, Elphaba saved his life when he was a cub, so that's the reason he's become a coward. And then also the fact that they just kept Dorothy faceless the whole time. I understand you want to respect the Wizard of Oz and having Dorothy as just Judy Garland, but, I mean, come on, like, you can at least have a little bit of the Wizard of Oz playing in here, not just certain shots in here. Like, I don't know. I also feel like when watching it and comparing it to the Wizard of Oz, it doesn't make it believable that those characters would act the way they are doing in this movie in The Wizard of Oz. Because you watch The Wizard of Oz, it's so much fun, it's so much carefree. The Wicked Witch is so evil. But yet, this is the real story. The Wizard of Oz is basically propaganda. And so, at the same time, it's also getting me kind of think, what if Jon M. Chu wants to do a remake of The Wizard of Oz? And so, now that we know what the story is like, we know what's behind the propaganda, the actual story, we could get a story of The Wizard of Oz with those actual characters and actually getting character development in the present day of this world to where it's darker, but at the same time it's still fun and carefree. And if John M. Chu wants to do that, I would love to see a version of The Wizard of Oz that's like that. I can understand why he wouldn't want to do it, because it would disrespect the Wizard of Oz legacy. But then again, we already have these public domain children's stories, so maybe this could be another one of them. I don't know. I'm surprised that Hollywood hasn't made one of those yet. But honestly, that's kind of all my thoughts on Wicked for Good. It's not as good as the first one. I would still say it's still a very good film. Unlike everybody else, I actually kind of liked the ending. And I would actually say the reason I love this movie, actually, other than Mufasa, is because Mufasa is more of a flawed movie. There's actually a lot of flaws with that movie. And I'm not crazy about the ending. This one actually has an emotional, powerful ending that actually works. Mufasa, not really. So, I'm going to give this one an A, or A minus, really, and then I'll give it like a 7.5 out of 10.